In our project, we will talk about the digestive process and we will focus on each one of its parts, such as the mouth, the esophagus, the small intestine, and the large intestine. We will explain and show the functions of the parts mentioned before and explain the terms of ingestion, digestion, absorption, and elimination. We will also show different foods and what they can cause to our digestive system, and show the importance of having a balanced diet.
Chemical reactions occur throughout all the body, especially in the digestive system. These reactions occur to break down and extract the nutrients that are necessary for our survival. The first reaction we see takes place in the mouth. Salivary glands produce an enzyme called vitellin. Its work is to break down starches into dextrose or maltose, which are two types of glucose. Next, the stomach breaks down food with gastric acid into a thick liquid called chyme, which then is passed from the stomach to the small intestine. In the small intestine, chyme is mixed with bile, which is produced by the liver, and with different enzymes produced by the pancreas. Bile is produced to dissolve fats, while the enzymes break down all of the remaining carbohydrates and proteins. Once this process is over, little finger-like structures called villi suckle the nutrients to the bloodstream, so they can be transported all throughout the body. After that, the large intestine absorbs water from the remaining substance through villi, which then is transported to the bloodstream. The last step is in the rectum. Before the main waste is excreted, it is temporarily stored in the rectum to form feces. Then after that, it is excreted completely.
The model. We will divide the model in 5 stages so we can explain every single part of the digestive system in a better way. The stage 1 is the mouth. We will use cubes of sugar to simulate the food that we eat. Then, with a mouth simulator, we will crush the sugar cube to make it crumbs and show the job of the teeth. Then, to that crumbs of sugar, we will add some water to act as a saliva. This added water is gonna be the job of one of the public that we're gonna choose. So it's one of the ways that the public is gonna interact with the model. Then is stage 2, that is the esophagus. The plate of sugar that we used in the last stage, the sugar with water, we will choose another member of the public, a person, to drop that sugar with water, with a little bit of water, to a large tube that is gonna simulate the esophagus, and we will tell him to pour the substance, and it will fall to another plate to simulate that job. Then is the stage 3. That plate of sugar that was from the esophagus part, the stage 2, we will another time take it and drop the sugar that remain in the plate to another bottle a little bit bigger with water and Alka-Seltzer, that it will simulate the stomach acid, and will drop the sugar to make the function of what the acids do to the food that we eat. Then, even though that process takes a lot of time and we cannot take away the sugar from the Alka-Seltzer, we will have another plate with sugar and water that will be the thing that is left after the stomach make its function. So the plate with sugar, we're gonna ask another another person from the audience to pour it, so he could another interaction with the project. The model is the stage 4, the small intestine. We will use a plate that we get left from the stage 3. We will ask another person from the audience to pour it to a bigger, longer and bigger tube. Then that tube is gonna end up in some paper towels so it functions up. The water and the sugar can pass through them, and that absorbent towels will make the job of the small intestine, the part where the small intestine absorbs some nutrients and parts of the food we ate. So that's what the absorbent towels are gonna do. Then what is left about that, it's gonna be like, well, sugar and water, but this is what we're gonna give to the final stage. And at last, the large intestine, stage 5. The remaining sugar and water from the stage 4, we will another time ask a person from the audience to pour it into a little bit larger and small tube surrounded by paper towels. There are these things. So it's the little absorption that the large intestine does, and then that the sugar and water that are gonna pass through the tube, that is gonna be like the waste, and we will throw it to a trash can to simulate the elimination of the last process, elimination of the food, and that's how we will end our model.
For this project, we're going to need a mouth simulator from a dentist's office, an example of sugar, a dropper, 3 or 2 small dishes, a transparent plastic tube, Alka-Seltzer acid, a fish tank, 3 tiny absorbent towels, and a trash can.
Build this project trying to simulate the process food goes through when we eat it. It is divided in 5 stages: the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, and the large intestine. For the mouth, we used a mouth simulator from a dentist's office and a dropper with water to simulate the saliva. For the esophagus, we used a long plastic tube. For the stomach, we used a fish tank with Alka-Seltzer acid. We used a fish tank because it has proved to be more resistant than a normal jar. For the small intestine, we used a longer, more flexible plastic tube and some towels to get rid of the excess water. And for the large intestine, we used larger towels and a trash can to get rid of the product.
My conclusion of this project and the digestive system is that we don't even know how it works, and it has still a big part in our life. So by this project, we're going to learn their function and how we need to take care of it.
For our project, we have been looking for materials to create the model of the digestive system and show the process of how it converts food into small molecules that can be used by the body, and show what may happen when we eat food that is difficult to process. In this project, my contribution in this project was to establish an objective and propose the idea of using tubes to simulate the way we digest food and its process.
As you may have seen, our model is really interactive, and we really try to explain every stage, every part of the digestive system in the better way, visually, and explain it. So we give and we also make the audience to interact with this model to make.
I think that our STEM project is very interesting, and it will help a lot to people to understand how the process of digestion works, and I hope that it all goes as we planned.
I think this project is a great opportunity for the audience to see with its own eyes how the process of consuming food works and how some foods digest harder than some other ones.